Hey everybody. See if you guys can hear me okay. Tell me if you can't. I like it when you can hear me okay, but sometimes people can't hear me okay. Ooh, that's loud. Let's see if I can adjust that. There we go. What is it about dark aesthetics? What do you mean, Austin? I don't know what that, like, in regards to what? Like myself or the channel or you or in general? Like, that's a super broad question. It's like a Jerry Seinfeld style question, you know. What is it about dark aesthetics? Like, waiting for the punchline, or you can clarify what you mean, and I'll answer it if you're asking me or anybody else. All of the above. That's too. That's too many. It's too much. Um, what specifically is the issue with dark aesthetics? Like you're talking about like my music, um, like the fact that I don't have very super bright lighting, that I use a black and white filter. Um, what specifically are you referring to? Like, are you saying that you don't participate in anything like that? Like, you don't have any aesthetic? All your aesthetics are just like super lighthearted and kawaii. Like, I don't know, man. Like, you see dark aesthetics and just go, nah, I don't like it. It's not for me. Is that what you're referring to? And you're legitimately asking, like, hey, what's up? What's up with people liking? What's up with people being into aesthetically unpleasant or conventionally unpleasant dark things? I'd be happy to oblige if you have any kind of particular question pertaining to any of that. Okay, well, I guess that was best of luck to both Schizoid Angst and Mind Mastery. Wonderful collaborative effort. Exciting. I'm glad you think so, Patrick. We're trying our best. We luckily for us, the Saturday group for the next 5 more sessions is filled up. So if anybody's interested in it, well, spots will open up in like a month and change. In like a month and change, if you decide, oh, this is a thing for me, I want to try it now, then cool. You're more than welcome to. We usually have like 6, 7 spots open, but if for some reason more people are like, hey, you need more spots or more people, there's like a higher demand, then obviously we can like set up a new time slot, like on the same day or something, or on a different day or whatever the hell it is that we decide to do. So it was intended to be a very general and open-ended question. Okay, like for me or for chat or just for everybody watching. If it's for me, man, it's so open-ended that my brain just gets flooded with like just fucking so much. Like I don't even know where to start, man. Like if you're asking why do you like dark aesthetics, it's cozy, I'm comfortable. Um, I like color palettes that aren't too complicated, I guess. I'm not really into like a bunch of bright, random, shiny things everywhere. It's not usually my forte. Maybe it's a sensory thing. I don't know. I like. I have dysthymia, so, and I've been kind of on the depressive side most of my life. So I don't know. Maybe it's just like comfortable, like some kind of like for my environment to be kind of low grade dark, because like my internal is kind of low grade dark all the time. So maybe something like that. I don't know. And plus, some of it I just find really cozy. Like I play a game like Dark Souls, and I'm like, if it weren't for all the creatures and things trying to kill me all the time, some of these like buildings and places that you traveled through just look so goddamn cozy. Like, it just looked cool. And it's all like, and the sun's all fucked up looking, and same thing with Bloodborne. Like, you play Bloodborne, and it's like, wow, some of these buildings and these places are just so chill. If only it wasn't just like surrounded by things that are going to shred me to pieces before I get a chance to enjoy it. So I guess that's just me. I don't know. There's a lot of people like that, I think, in this world. I'm more into, like, I would say, as far as dark goes, I'm usually more into just like gloomy shit, like gloomy dark, than like gore dark or like violence dark. Some of that's fun. I like some of it, but it has to have a very kind of gloomy undertone. Like if the yeah, like liminal spaces are fun and interesting. Yeah, like so stuff like that is like cozy and interesting and cool. Like I like the idea of, like, if you're talking about something like, say, like back liminal spaces and back rooms and shit like that, and all the extended lore people talk about all the time with that shit. I like the idea of, like, if I was invulnerable, didn't need food or water, and could just travel through like the endless floors, just searching and looking and going up to things and watching how the monsters and things behave, and just interacting with them. You know, even if they're attempting to kill me, but they can't. But just so I can, like, see the behavior and study it and kind of enjoy the aesthetic of it all. That sounds really, really cool and cozy and chill to me. Because the only reason I would be like, oh, I wouldn't do it if I wasn't invulnerable is only because it'll be very limited amount of time I get to enjoy it, and I would be really sad about that. Even though, like, I'll probably get torn apart or torn asunder by something. But I would just be sad, like, oh, well, what's the point if I only get to see, like, 1 or 2 floors and then I'm dead? And I only get to check out all the other cool areas. That's dumb. I'd rather just not bother then, I guess. Because it's pretty much guaranteed you're kind of fucked. I guess that's my thought on it, at least. Things of that nature. Sorry if there's any background noise. I think my 2-year-old just got pissed or something. So more specifically, I did have, like, I did want to kind of go into the question that I posted, but I don't know. We can get into whatever. I guess a couple things I should just get out of the way right at the beginning. If you haven't watched my discussion that I had with Max Durrott on my channel, check it out. If you don't know who Max Durrott is, you should, especially if you're into, like, gaming and, like, philosophy and Carl Jung and cool shit like that. So if you know who Max Durrott is, good. If you don't, then go find out. Just type Max Durrott in. You'll find him very quickly. It was a rather sizable channel, considering the subject matter. But in any case, I did a discussion with them. That's uploaded on my channel. They're a really cool guy. Cool autistic dude with, like, interesting ideas, and I don't know. I found talking to the dude pretty cozy, pretty chill. Hopefully, you know, we'll do more talks on whatever subjects are mutually interesting. In any case, check it out. So that's, like, the latest thing. What else? Oh yeah. So another thing I should just show that's important to me right now is Art Hedonia. So I have a link in all my streams and videos, I think, now, for Miele's Creative Meat server. So there's a link there. If you're an artist and you're, like, cluster A and shit, more specifically you're Schizoid, but, you know, anybody's really welcome to hang out in there. You can join the server. There is a section there for Art Hedonia applications, as we want to see some Schizoid art and submissions. And then if somebody is interested and we're interested in the art and you know, talk about it, we can do, like, episodes where we, you know, talk to you and jump on and, you know, just basically check out your artwork and kind of see it through that lens that might be similar, especially if, you know, from Schizoid to another. from schizo spectrumer to another. So there's that. I would check that out. And there's the group, but the group's filled up right now. But I would still check out Mind Mastery's channel. I do a group with Joanna of that channel, Mind Mastery. She has a great channel. Check it out. But we do a kind of Zoom, or what is it? Is it Zoom? Yeah, Zoom call support coaching type group. Like I said, right now the seats are full, but we're going to be doing more of that down the line too. I think there is a waiting list. If you want to sign up for the waiting list, you're more than welcome to as well. All right, I think that's all the shilling. I'm pretty sure that's it. I don't know. There's always something. Oh yeah, the gacha. I keep forgetting. That's probably why nobody puts anything in it. If you're in the server already, join the server, by the way. The Zoid Void. It's in the description. If you're Schizoid, join a Schizoid. You can do an application with a vetting process. If you're not, you can still join it if you're just a fan of the channel. There's channels in there that are not Schizoid specific or support specific. But another thing too is if you join my Patreon, you can do cool stuff like submit something to what I have on there called the Hermit Gacha, which basically lets you submit links, videos, or whatever the fuck you feel like submitting. And then once there's at least 12 or 13 submissions on there of some kind, 2 per person max, that's a Garden Hermit. I do like a stream and kind of go over that shit. You know, whatever's there for that. But it gets a little slow, so sometimes it takes like a week, 2, 3, like more like 3 or 4 weeks, almost a month before I can even do one of those streams. Even though, like, it makes me laugh because there's probably at least 30 people that can put stuff in there, and like nobody does, except for like a handful of the same people. But yeah, I'd appreciate it. More content, more fun, or whatever you want to call it. Man. Always running on fumes. I'm sure you know about that. Running on the fumes. In any case, let's see here. What's up, bros? Hey, Grant. How's it going? Okay, so it looks like 6 votes came in about the question I had posted was I have interest, curious, disdain, disgust, its complicated relationship with world news. So far, I have 6 yeses, no nos so far. You need birthday party lovers. Hi, Dave. Yeah, I've always had this very complex relationship with just news in general, especially things like international news, world news, meaning it's just whatever international, national, just news. You know, what's the big hubbub currently in the world that people are talking about, or articles are being written about, and everyone's fucking running around like a fucking chicken with its head cut off at the moment. And what are the fiascos and haphazard decisions that are being made, shit like that. Like everyone's like shitting their pants about. Let's see here. I know more about world news than you've had hot dinners. Like the real reason Rishi Sunak was brought in today as the UK Prime Minister. Oh man, I'm sure a lot of the people that I talk to sometimes and watch my streams are really into knowing all kinds of stuff about news. And they probably get their news from a variety of sources, be they mainstream, alternative, super alternative, and so on and so forth. But that's part of the fun, at least in my opinion. But yeah, I'm not going to get into it. I mean, we could get into a specific subject eventually here, but more openly right now, I just want to kind of talk about it in general. So, even since I was a kid, God tells me the news before. Okay, Kanye. God tells me the news before they happen. Right now, that's like one of the big international news pieces, right? Kanye going out of his fucking mind in public, saying the quiet things out loud and all that, that are in his head. But no, I've always been fascinated with things of that nature ever since I was a kid. I've always like my parents. I'm old, so I'm like 38. So like when I was younger, it was just like, you know, once I was old enough to like understand what was kind of happening in the news. but he I would see my parents watching sometimes the news in Spanish, my mom specifically, things like that. I am a Spanish speaker, and I would just like watch, and I'd be like, what is it like? Obviously, I'd see nothing but death and destruction in the news, and complaints about this or that, and then whenever there was like celebrity news, I would just be like, I don't get it, I don't understand, who cares? And then when it was like crazy news about war or something, I would just be like, why is this happening? I want to know. This is not good. And so I've always been kind of that kid, and then eventually I turned into like, I would say in my like teenage years and into my early 20s, I was like super like conspiracy guy. Um, like not conspiracy as in like looking at stuff and looking at what pieces make sense and like being really kind of contextually based, like knowledge wise. No, I meant like in my teenage years, it was more like I believed goddamn anything that made the world seem terrible because the world felt so terrible to me. So I was like 16 and or 15 and reading fucking David Icke books and reptilian agenda shit and like all kinds of silly stuff. And it would just be a really you're a Spanish speaker. I'm Spanish and in the center of Madrid right now. Oh, that's cool. I'm Latino Spanish wise, but I mean, I Castellano I can actually understand fairly enough to get by. Like some of the wording and stuff. Yeah, yeah. But point is I used to really really get into that sort of stuff. And then as I got older, obviously I went through a stage where I was like, oh wait, all that stuff I was reading that David Icke said was kind of dumb, silly bullshit. Yeah, combined with some interesting stuff. So then I got more hooked on the interesting stuff, and I started more. I would say in my 20s, I started like digging more into the mainstream news stuff and political parties and everything else. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. Okay, this is that. This is this. All right, this doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. Why don't they just change this? Okay, whatever. And then but because of I learned a lot in my 20s because of the controversy surrounding a lot of those types of topics, whether they're social issues or political ones. That's when I started discovering very quickly that my brain's a little different um, in the manner in which I thought about these things and wanted to discuss them and the approaches I wanted to take, because I would oftentimes upset people because of how like straightforward I was about the topics, or kind of non sequitur, to be honest. Like I'd just be thinking about it and be like, what do you think about this? And they're like, oh whoa, okay, well, I don't, like, they would look at me like, oh, I don't know you well enough to talk about that with you. It's like, huh? What does this have to do with us? Like, those are the kind of thoughts that would pop in my head. I'm like, well, this is just interesting. Like, you could just say you're not interested. I don't understand what knowing me has anything to do with being able to talk about a subject. That's weird. And so, or somebody would say something, and like, because my 20s, I was still attempting to mask and like go to parties and stuff, trying to be. I was still in that stage, that schizoid stage of like, I think if I try hard enough, I can be normals. I was still silly and going through that stage in my early 20s, and um, so then or normalized is a better word, not normal. Um, but I would go to places, and then somebody would mention something kind of like candidly about like something that was happening in the world, and then I would be like, engage, like fucking Star Trek style, engage, and would be like, oh wow, they're talking about the thing, and I go up to them and be like, oh okay, I think this about it, and they're like, okay, who asked you? Or it would be a situation of like, oh well, I don't really know that much about it, I just heard about it, and then in my head I'd go, why are you bringing it up? Or I would actually say it, and then people would get upset. I'm like, oh, that's like, but I wouldn't say it like mad at them. I would just be like, oh, well, that's unfortunate. I want to talk about it, and you don't seem to know much about it. And they'd be like, what is that supposed to mean? And I'll be like, I'm just reiterating what you said, that you don't know much about it, so you can't really talk about it. But you confused me because you brought it up as if like you could talk about it. So sorry, I guess. shit like that. And like a lot of those kind of, I guess it was one of those attempts earlier in life, when I was trying to be like, oh, I'm not gonna sing you a lullaby. You can listen to the background music and use that as a lullaby, or you can just listen to my amazing, terrible voice. I don't know if this is intentional, but you never ping for a stream. Oh shit! I didn't ping. Hey, well, I guess it doesn't matter. I already got like 14 people on here, but Melee, Beefcake, can you do me a favor? Do you have access to be able to ping it for me? Can you ping it for me? I think you can. I'm pretty sure you can. I think all of you guys can. Yeah, do me a favor. Just ping it for me. I'd appreciate that. That's Melee / Beefcake. They're the ones that run the Creative Meat server. So you can at them if you have any questions, or just click on the link, and I think it should be in the description for it. But yeah, I've always had this kind of like dynamic with it like that. Then eventually, I would say, like internally, late 20s, early 30s. That's when I started kind of going, oh, okay, I better just keep this shit to myself, unless I'm in a very specific situation in which I can openly discuss these topics, out of just either sometimes morbid curiosity, but sometimes like genuine curiosity, and an effort to try to like think of like, oh, what possible solutions could there be for some of these things. Let's see here, Dave Doggo. Don't fret just because people are not interested in your interests. I used to be upset that no one was interested in my interests, and I found the internet my salvation. Oh, it wasn't so much, Dave, that nobody was interested in what I was interested in. It was just that like I wanted to talk about these things. Thank you, Melee. I wanted to talk about these things because I was interested in them, and then it always annoyed me that there was people always talking about things like they knew about a subject, but then when you try to talk to them about it, they actually didn't really know anything about it. Oh no, I just said that they could at you or in chat, or just click on the description so they can go on your server and join it and stuff. And earlier, I already shilled for Art Hedonia. Don't worry. I'm gonna shill away every time I get a chance to remember. Have any of you had an opportunity yet? I don't know if maybe earlier watched the Max Durrott discussion. Well, you don't have to thank me. That's something we're working on together, Melee. The fuck? No thanks needed. So it's important to me too. I'm not just doing you a favor. Don't let it go to your head, kid. Anybody watch that yet? Check it out yet? I know Max was nice enough to Tay. Somebody said, "Hey, Angst," but unfortunately, I can't read that, and so I can't. I don't know who that is, but thank you. Hi. If somebody could tell me how to pronounce that username, I'd appreciate it. I'll try my best. Eli is good kid. Very good kid. Anyway, as I was saying, Mikhail Seminov. Mikhail. I'm just going to go with Mikhail. Mikhail's works. Hi, Mikhail. No, yeah, but I've always had a kind of a touch and touch. It wouldn't be touch and go. I've always had a very... It's Mihail. Okay, so Mihail. That works. I always had this relationship with like world news, politics, all that kind of shit, social issues, where it was mostly distant. It was mostly like at a distance that I was interested in these subjects, especially like as I got older, because as some of you might know, idiosyncratic thoughts and neurodivergent thinking regarding these subject matters. If you're kind of very meta-analysis focused, you tend to have opinions that can be unpopular or Maybe just curiosities that are unpopular to bring up, not even necessarily your opinions. That's one thing that's always been a problem with a subject like, um, politics, media, and whatever the fuck else like that. Is as somebody like coming from this kind of schizo ass like neurodivergent perspective, like one of the issues that's always been the difficult one for me, and I don't know if anybody here would relate to it, that is on that kind of side of things, schizoid or otherwise, is that people would assume that your curious questions, or like occasionally playing, like obviously playing devil's advocate, or just kind of like legitimately wondering things about the subject and asking questions because you're trying to like make pieces fit, would get turned on you like very quickly. Like it would turn into like, you're this, you're that, you're this kind of person, you're that kind of person, you must support this, you must believe that. Like a lot of this misattribution and misunderstanding about what it is you're trying to do. And it was like constant, consistent, and it sucked, and I hated it. And it kind of just made like, but I'm a weird type of Zoid in the sense that like it oftentimes wouldn't stop me from conversing on the subjects because I'm legitimately interested in this, and it's more interesting to me to talk about it and get to the bottom of stuff and have a conversation on it than it is to avoid annoying you, because I would just ignore you if you got all but hurt or whatever. And I'm not talking about like, oh, I have the fucking truth and everyone else just can't take it and all that bullshit. No. No. I got past that one in like early 20s. I'm talking more along the lines of just being able to have conversations with anybody about anything, without it being assumed that you're supporting or feeling a certain way or this or that. It's frustrating. Like, I just want to talk. This world's already a mess and really confusing. Well, why does it have to get more complicated just trying to talk? In today's woke, anti-woke environment, let's just say that Zoe talking in-depth specifics about touchy subjects won't be tolerated. Probably not. But I don't know. Maybe they will. If I just tell people I'm retarded, like, or something, like, I don't know. Like, people don't know. Like, oh, I'm neurodivergent, and they probably just think, oh, he's retarded. And I'd be like, yeah, okay. I'll just say, yeah, that's what it means. And then they'll be like, oh, okay, that's why he says weird shit and dumb shit. It's like, yes. Do you sometimes yawn deliberately when someone is talking to you about stuff that's important to them? Not specifically, Patrick. Not specifically because it's important to them, but because it's uninteresting. But I don't deliberately yawn. I probably actually get bored and yawn. But usually I just kind of drift off and then just try to keep enough together of what they're saying to kind of find an exit strategy, especially if they're not saying anything particularly stimulating or interesting to me. I don't want to like necessarily hurt their feelings or anything. I'm not looking to do that. I don't get off on that. So, but I would like to exit the communication if it's, and I would do it directly by just saying, "Oh, I'm not really interested in that. Can we talk about something else, or can we talk about something we mutually enjoy or are knowledgeable in?" Like, even if somebody has an opinion I disagree with, like if they're somewhat knowledgeable in the subject, just, I'm interested. Like, I might have an opinion on something, and then they'll be like, "Oh, I disagree," and then they'll sound like, "Wow, they know a lot about this." I'll listen. I'll be like, "Well, you know more about this than me. I'd like to know." I don't know if it'll necessarily convince me of anything. I just want whatever information you provide, and I'll process that later. Um, Hermits have the power to think originally without the fear of getting canceled out of friend group or community when you don't need one in the first place. That's pretty funny. Apple. I mean, that's as funny as like, I won't agree with the not needing one in the first place. Not needing is a strong word, right? But there's a lot of nice things that people don't need, right? Even if you don't need a friend group, I think even schizoids or hermits would go, well, it'd be nice to have one, even if it's like really distant or online only. Should. Got a question for you, Zoids. At school, did you daydream in class all the time? Then near exam, time, shit your pants, and then read up and specifically prepare for exams? Yeah, I used to do that all the time, Dave. It always required like some kind of like strong external force, like time. It's fucking weird, man. I can go weeks and months without having a conversation with anyone, and I'm fine with that. No, that's cool, Dave. Whatever. I mean, you're on here conversing with me via this platform right now, so I count that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, if you're not talking to people IRL, like, oh, it doesn't count as social communication. I think that's bullshit. I think some people need more than others. Especially neurodivergent peeps might not need interpersonal communication in the same way and for the same amounts of time. Great depths. Just started university. So many people, so many hours, so many assignments, no mental energies. I don't know what to do. Well, great. There are some methods. I just don't know what is causing your particular lack of energy, right? It can be a variety of things. If you're schizoid or something, or somebody that's diagnosed schizoid, and you're just dealing with things like anhedonia and ebullition and stuff, I've talked about it is oblivion. Oh, okay. Hey, what's up, Oblivion? Oh, okay. Yeah, if you're talking about shit of that nature, then like there are ways to do it. You just have to repurpose, reconceptualize why you're doing what you're doing, why you're doing the work you're doing, and try to like customize your assignments a little bit toward even if it's like a little eccentric. Some professors are pretty chill about you taking kind of alternative routes to the assignment as long as you do the work and you have the sources and you do the appropriate type of thing. And then you talk to them beforehand. You ask, hey, is this cool? Like I would do that sometimes with some professors. I'd just be like, I know this is the assignment, but I'm kind of more interested in this, and I'll put in the same amount of work. Will you let me do that? And they'll be like, sometimes they'll be like, yeah, that's cool. Like they'll actually like that you take that initiative anyway. So, and then you won't be as bored doing it, especially if you align it with something that you're kind of overall more interested in. So, because like when I was going to school and graduate school, like I would be like, I don't like this subject, so I'd find a way to tie it into things that I'm more interested in, like the theme, and then I would talk to the professor. And so, a lot of the times, they would just be like, yeah, that's fine. I mean, half the time, they're probably not going to even read your paper, to be honest. They're probably just going to like gut it and then go, it's shit, or it's good. I don't know how much time these people actually have to read every goddamn, 12, 13, 14, 15, 20 page paper somebody produces. Well, that's for Tay. Oh, okay. One of my professors is clearly a narcissist that triggers me really bad. He belittles students all the time to inflate his ego. Ew, gross. That's gross, yucky. I don't like having professors. That's like the worst shit ever. People in academia that are full of themselves. Holy shit, man. That stuff just like that shit triggers the shit out of me, man. Because like I've had quite a few bad run-ins with people of academic status and degree that are honestly dumb as shit, like just dumb as fuck on every subject except their particular field. And even when in their field, though they're incredibly knowledgeable, they're like pathetically unimaginative. So yeah, it sucks when people are narky and in positions of academia. Super shit. Like the last thing you want. Yeah, I've had a lot of run-ins. Do you think it's a good idea to carry remote control with you and press the lower volume button when people are talking about boring stuff? Asking for a friend. I mean, that could be a way of entertaining yourself. It's kind of funny because it's a way of kind of making fun of them without saying anything or hurting anyone, I guess, and just keep it to yourself. And it was just like a funny inside joke you have with yourself, whatever. That's cool, I guess. I don't care. I kept away from academic professors at uni. They were arrogant and judgmental. It just depends on what you mean. Like, because when I hear somebody's arrogant and judgmental, like the first question I want to ask is, okay, are they just telling you you're wrong about shit you're wrong about, and you just can't take being told you're wrong, or are they actually being judgmental about your legitimate questions, positions, and all you're looking for is some thoughtful, productive criticism if there is any to be had? Like, it's totally different. I don't know. That's fine, Patrick. You chill with your voices. I don't care. Just as long as they stick to remote controls and not crowbars and shit, we're good. Um, I honestly, I currently like, I can't tell if people with the Patrick Bateman pictures and avatars are just like I can't tell if it's like one of those like meta post irony things where like they know it's cringe to like put on some kind of pedestal this fucking loser ass psycho character, like narcissistic piece of shit character, but like it's just really funny to like pretend like that character's your fucking hero. Um, like it just it's funny as shit to me. Like if that when it's that case, but sometimes I just wonder if people are like really are thinking that this guy is like based and cool. I'm like, nope. Okay, Patrick Bateman's dumb as fuck. Not you, the user, but just the character. He has a cool ass voice and says funny shit, and has a kick ass bod, and has a good sense of, I guess, 80s, early 90s style of clothing. You know, I guess in that sense, he has some aesthetically okay. All right, well, that's unfortunate, Bateman, because I'll tell you right now, I probably the only kind of head crabs that a crowbar would remove would be yeah, like you're talking Black Mesa style head crab type shit, and yeah, maybe unless you're talking about like crabs that you would get on your crotch, but like on your actual top of your head or on the head of your cock, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're referring to. I am great depths. I honestly can barely cope with the immense amount of people. Just until last week, I spent months alone in my house. Not as many people for so many hours, so much stress. Um, so that's what's interesting. Like when there was like a lot of people, like when I was at uni myself, yeah, there'd be a lot of people. But honestly, like I guess I've gotten really talented at just sort of filtering out other individuals surrounding me or around me, like when it's not necessary. Like I just I don't see the point of taking in information that I just don't want to. And so I've gotten pretty good at just kind of like turning it on to just fuzz in my head. I think that's a pretty good way to put it. Like when I like to think about like what would be like what I think would be interesting to study in like people that I guess are schizospectrum compared to autism, as far as sensory goes. What I'd be curious to wonder is if there's a possibility that like there's a lower sense of sensory input that isn't always under full control by the individual. So like a lot of the times there's a lot of people that are on that schizo spectrum that like talk about just disassociating or just like zoning out of like even the most base interpersonal conversations, or group settings would just make them like retreat into their mind, and then like everything around them would literally they would just stop keeping track of it, which could be really really obviously detrimental to a lot of situations, especially if you're not intending to do it, or it's just a way for you to cope with the amount of sensory shit that's around you, and so you're just like, bye, like your brain just go bye bye. I don't like all that, and or if it can't, it just goes, oh, I like this inside better. All I can't concentrate all these things on the outside. It's just it's a bunch of things I don't want to do, and then but it's not like a necessarily a controlled sort of thing. It can definitely get in the way of shit, and your ability to communicate with your fellow man, or your just environments, especially the ones that require you to be more present and concrete in order to function. Like I always thought, like I often thought like, if I when I was younger, if I would have joined something like the military, I feel like if I was in some situation that was dangerous, I'd probably get killed. Not because I wasn't like following the rules or doing the correct procedures or whatever, but because I would be doing them kind of on autopilot and then wouldn't adapt to some kind of danger because I would be zoning out and then I'd probably just get shot or blown up or something. I don't know. That's my thought on what would probably happen to me. Like I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Oh, Patrick Bateman's from American Psycho. It's a good movie, Tay. You should check it out. It's a fun movie. Melee, they're base cool alpha. Shut up, Melee. You silly. 250 business meetings by line. I reckon I think I listened to around 25 of them. Switched off all others. Oh, okay. Yeah, the Bateman stuff is satire. Yeah, I know. I kind of figured as much. Kind of figured as much. All that Sigma shit's so dumb, dude. At least to me, like all that Sigma male, alpha, beta shit. I'm just like, it's dumb. Dumb, silly baby shit. Whatever. Yeah, it's a movie character from a cool movie. Schizoid movie recommends. Politoid asks. I don't. Okay. Well, this was actually a movie I brought up a while back to Max when I did talk to them before the discussion I uploaded. Um, there's a movie called. Fuck, it has Anthony Hopkins. I always forget what it's called. It's a period piece. Daedric Princess. It's funny, Ricky. How do you know play it? So much oblivion. No, the oh shit, what is it called? It's Anthony Hopkins period piece. He's a butler. Somebody will probably bring it up in chat. Butler Anthony Hopkins period piece. Yeah, it's a no, not Howard's Way. It's Anthony Hopkins. He's a butler, and and he's I think it's British period piece type thing. And it's a very good movie for a variety of reasons, and it's very Zoidy. The character that Anthony plays is very Zoidy in many regards. Very kind of neurodivergent in many regards too. And like as far as the priorities and interests go, and the way they what their value system is about, and the confusion they feel. Fuck, what is it called? It Remains of the Day. Yeah, Remains of the Day. Yeah, Remains of the Day is such a cool movie. If you want just like an interesting Zoidy sort of film, in my opinion, as far as that goes, I would say that would probably be pretty good. Um, Shoot, Gorath. Yeah, Remains of the Day, pretty good one. Um, and so is that. I ended up watching it not that long ago. Somebody, a friend of mine, had recommended it. But there's also the what's his face? Willem Dafoe plays Vincent Van Gogh at the Edge of Eternity. I think it's called. That's a very good movie. I guess it's based off some of Van Gogh's like behaviors and interests and kind of way of looking at the world and things of that nature. Because nowadays people think that he was schizophrenic to some degree, Vincent Van Gogh. But the movie itself is cool. He's just like I don't know. He's wholesome as fuck. Would I give you a hug if I needed it? Like, I don't know. No, probably. I mean, I don't know. How would I know that you need it? And it depends on what you need it for, and it depends on how uncomfortable it would make me. And there's a lot of context as to if I would. I'll be honest. Mm, I don't know. It'd be like a lot of cognitive empathy questions I'd be asking, and like if you're stating what it is that you're so sorrowful about, and if it's something that I could connect to, um, yeah, I might be able to. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to enjoy it probably because whatever, but I would probably make some kind of moral or ethical decision as to whether I should give you that hug or not. And and if there's alternative people that be available for said hug, I prefer they do it. I don't know. I sorry, I'm fucking around. Oh, okay. I kind of figured, but I like to answer stuff anyway. Like I like to think about it. I'm like, what if I saw some guy and he was like really really sad and fucked up and crying, and I was like walking past him, and I mean, I don't know. They might like lie. What if they just stab me or something instead? I don't know that I like. I don't feel compelled to hug them. I don't know. I don't know, man. That's a fucking weird question. It really is. I mean, I don't know. No, I don't know that anyone has to for sure. Maybe yeah, like yeah, the shoulder pat, half hug, probably be like, um, oh, you like Arthur Fleck? It's funny. Ricky battling in the name of Arthur Fleck. Funny. I don't remember what the subject was for today. Oh yeah, I remember now. Okay, so I'm gonna open up my live stream thing so people can jump on and talk to me about whatever they want. I think if you like the subject in the poll, you can talk about that. If you don't like the subject in the poll, talk about something else. If you saw my discussion with Max and want to talk about it, cool. If you didn't watch it but you want to talk about it anyway for some unrelated reason, cool. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and um, who's laughing at me? Tay. Tay laughed at me because Melee posted it for me. Why didn't you post it for me, Tay? I'm gonna start I'm gonna start doing that thing where like I make people feel like bad. No, it doesn't even work on Zoid. So never mind. That's stupid. Like you can't like pit people against each other if they don't really care about social status regarding a specific individual. Nah, that wouldn't work anyway. Okay, so I'm gonna open up the live stream thing. So if you're on the server, you can jump on and talk to me. Um, so I'm gonna unmute, and if you want to jump on, it's in the Annex live stream. If you've never jumped on but want to jump on, just join the Zoid Void Discord as a non-Zoid temporarily. You could always just change it later, so you can jump on and talk to me, or if you're already on the server, you can find it and click on it and talk to me. Like I said, about anything. I don't care if it's the poll subject or the title of the stream or whatever I recently uploaded. I don't care. Or just you want to talk about the breakfast you ate. Oh, somebody get rid of that, please. Anyone, if any of my mods are there, just get rid of the fucking stupid bot. That'd be cool. Fucking dumb bots, man. Anyway, I'll be right back. So give me like 10 seconds. I'm gonna grab something, and be right back.
What's up, fellas? Can anybody hear me? Yes. Cool. I turned the stream down so that I can't, nobody can feedback from me, but I can't hear anybody except for the dude that said yes through whatchamacallit just yet. So,
The angst has returned. Okay, so before
A
I walk,
disaster for the human race. They have greatly increased the life expectancy of those of us who live in advanced.
oh, I was listening to that, and then you muted it. Oh, it was probably just a meme or something. That's okay.
that sounds like a meme.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't mind. I don't mind some memeing. I don't mind a good old memeing. So I saw you jumped on first. I think Grant, right?
Yeah, man. How's it going? Um,
Hey, what's up,
I
Grant?
just wanted to compliment everybody on the server here, the Discord server. I'm pretty impressed with it. Got a lot of good artwork and everything.
Compliment. Oh, what do you
Muted
compliment?
myself.
Shut up, Jalal did not make it. uh, okay, so to give us your compliments so that oh well look Miele's here. Tell Miele so they can get uncomfortable with the compliments about the server because it's our moderators, our devs, all kinds of people's over the last chunk of time have worked on it. Some people still around, some people not around. Some of those
You
people
want to
hate
listen to
hate
the
me
whole
now,
thing?
which is interesting. So
Oh
but
wow.
yeah, that's how it happens. So, but in any case, so what are your thoughts on the server, the Zoid Void Grant Withers?
Well, I mean, I like it a lot in terms of the content and everything. Like I say, you got a lot of good art, and I think we've got a meme thing there too that was pretty good. Got a lot of content just all around there. It looks like we've got some SZPD research and stuff that I don't think I've gotten into yet.
Yeah,
But
we fuck around with all kinds of stuff. I mean, honestly, I'll be honest. This the server's rather strange in that it requires very minimal levels of moderation, which is ideal because which is ideal because having a schizoid admin slash owner and moderators is probably ideal that it's not full of bullshit and drama constantly. Yeah, I mean, to me, it just shows that we're probably letting the right people into the schizoid parts of the server because it's just usually really chill. Even when it's active, it's just generally chill,
right.
which is nice. People disagreeing about this or that, but like keeping civil, you know, it's preferable. Anything else there, Grant, about that in particular, or did you want to talk about something else?
Well, I mean, first, I hope that that's a compliment that actually you appreciate as a schizoid, because it's related to your, your project here and everything. But also, I have to ask you. I mean, you can't let us just be hanging on who hates you now and why do they hate you?
Oh,
How did that go down?
why do you care, Grant? I'm not gonna get into drama. Don't do that one. No, it's just stuff happens. People have disagreements about this or that. Some people have some issues with this or that, and you know,
Right.
uh, people, just I guess go different ways and stuff, and some people get uh, more upset about it all than others, and I guess I don't know. It's just stuff. All right. Hold on. Good night. Tell my little one. Good night. Oh, give me a hug. All right. Night night. Night night. All right. Get to bed, you crazy person. Go. But just shit like that. I'm not the type that just goes around like just publicly shit talking people that like have given me problems and stuff. I don't see the purpose or the point. Some people let people have whatever shit they have.
Well, I tell you, at the rate that I think that you're making progress on the whole condition and everything, and bringing things together, and bringing research and big minds in the field, as far as I can tell, together, then in 5 6 years or whatever, you're gonna have to write a book about your experience.
Yeah, I'm definitely not gonna write a book about it. That's fucking somebody else can write a book about it if they want. But I mean, I don't even know, man. Like, I'm not really interested in any kind of recognition or fame or any of that shit. Obviously, more interested in just getting the ball moving along with a lot of the stuff that I feel is important. And since the subject is so niche and the demographic is so small, I'm finding ways to expand on it. That I'm kind of like, especially since I'm trying to like advocate and talk more about like neurodivergent aspects of schizoid, as well as its connection to things like schizotypal and stuff like that. And some of those connections are not just things I made up, as many would like to believe or say. They're actually things that have been partially researched. Connections have been found via different pieces of research. It's just a lot of it really requires more research. It really requires more time and money put into it to discover what it is that's happening. But so just kind of extending my arm outward to a little thing, stuff that's kind of like a little past just schizoid specific. In my opinion, I think is probably the way to go to make any kind of fundamental change, because then you're including more people that that might have some kind of correlation. So, yeah. Plus, there's just like more interest in some of the other adjacent stuff. Like people are more interested in something like schizotype or schizophrenia than they are about schizoids. And honestly, I think it has more to do with just kind of your average person's inclination toward the more interpersonally dramatic or affected, bigger splash, as Greenwood would put it, type conditions. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's what my therapist was talking about a little bit today as well. Happened to mention that she said most people only really know about narcissists, and I just happened to throw out, because I heard from Greenberg that the bipolar and the BPD a little bit known as well. So.
Yeah. Like a lot of the conditions or what have you that are more outwardly expressive and sometimes troublesome for society or small like groups, interpersonal groups and shit. Like they're gonna notice the person that fucking lashes out and screams and shit. They're not gonna notice person that's lashing out and screaming inside of themselves, but just not saying anything, and then just being reclusive. Like they're not gonna. Like that's what's kind of funny is that like there's a lot of people that are schizoid out there that also have like comorbid stuff like BPD and things like that.
Yeah.
The only difference is when their shit flares up, like they're just like dying on the inside and not sharing it with anyone. But they're going through similar emotions in certain regards. Like I've talked to like schizoids that like have like really deep difficulties with stuff like erotomania, right? So they have like these kind of like BPD style uh, feelings for a person that's never even talked to them or communicated with them, and it's parasocial or something, right? So like, but and then they feel disgusted by those feelings, and why do they even have them, and shit like that. It's an interesting dynamic. So they'll kind of react in a similar way internally about like someone's behavior that they perceive to be like incongruent with their own kind of fantasies of that person or thoughts
Yeah.
about them, even if it's
Yeah.
an IRL person, like say from like a YouTube or something. And so
Right.
then they'll have like these kind of fantasies about that person, and like, oh, wouldn't it be nice, and wouldn't it be great, and it would be so fun, like, and like so they have these kind of like fantasies, and then when that person kind of does something that contradicts their fantasy, they'll get really upset and angry inside, and like, you know what I'm saying, like they'll kind of go through some of those similar emotions, but nobody knows, only they know. um, and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's interesting. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
No, I understand what you're talking about, the overlap and everything. It's for sure. And that and autism, I hear it's upwards of 25% people showing some symptoms there. And I think a guy on your stream had mentioned he thought it was a lot of the time was the autistic thinking, and which I think is me. I think I have the two symptoms of autism that are where you can hyper focus, and not only can you, but you'll get stuck in hyper focusing on a certain interest or a certain topic or something. And then
Yeah.
um, there's one other major way of autistic thinking um, that's been noted a lot, and I
Well,
forget what it is off the top of my head. But yeah,
there is some there's definitely some overlap in the way those behaviors are.
I have fantasies about talking to Ben Shapiro.
That's funny. Yeah, talking to Ben.
he's the guy who I always think is in love with me.
Oh yeah, Ben.
Actually, his sister
Ben.
Abby,
Please,
Abby
Abby,
Shapiro.
Please be with me. I love
Yeah.
Abby. I will be your trad husband, says John Wall. No, but
Dude, Abby's got some memes, boy.
I will have a farm and milk all the cows. Anyway, so no, what I was saying is some of the overlaps often found between autism and things like on the kind of schizo spectrum of things are usually just kind of behavioral and apparent to anybody watching, but the reasons for those things occurring are entirely different. But at the same time, I've spoken to more than one person that has kind of some of the overlapping issues. I wouldn't be surprised. This is the thought, because I'm just some dumb loser on the internet. I wouldn't be surprised if they did enough research that there would be a higher proclivity toward just overall neurodivergent types of thinking in somebody that's
Right.
already kind of floating in deeply in one direction or the other.
Yeah,
Like I
I
feel
agree.
like there's probably a higher chance of that occurring than a lower one, because I have
I
spoke.
definitely agree.
Yeah, I've definitely spoken to like a lot of people that have a lot of the abstract thinking that comes with the whole schizo thing, but like they do some of this like autistic hyper focusing on the abstract thing where they just become entirely um, focused and engulfed by it, detail by detail. Um,
Yeah.
and so then, I've seen things of that nature occur. I've heard those discussions. But one of the things that's funny about whether it's somebody that's just schizoid or schizotypal or somebody that's autistic or somebody that has this kind of like mixed bag action, anybody that's kind of on this neurodivergent side of things, the one thing that I often see is common is the either inability or the difficulty with trying to stay somewhere in the middle of all of it, trying to be in what is the equidistant between each side of that sort of spectrum of thinking. Like they're trying to be in that kind of like more middle of the road sort of interpersonal concrete mix of thinking, right, just in between the very abstract and the hyper concretized. Like they're just kind of somewhere floating in there. That's a difficult place to be for them, and that usually is where they need to mask, or they need to like kind of adapt, because most of their environments like that, right?
Yeah.
Most of societal environments that you interact with are somewhere kind of in the middle. uh, and kind of very kind of focused on the interpersonal connectivity and networking of that type. And so, like a lot of pretty much everyone that I've spoken to that's neurodivergent as far as autism or schizo, they're just like, yeah, I can't. That's hard. They either can't do it, and so then they're considered to be low functioning, right? Like a lot of schizoids that are considered to be what do they call them? Not covert, but tired. Overt. An overt schizoid would be considered more low functioning because they can't help but say or do things, or are unable to mask in ways that like kind of make them more conducive to polite society. And so it's the same thing with like autism, right? So a high functioning autistic person can kind of navigate and kind of mask and adapt, and somebody that's not, they can't. And so they're like they're leaning toward the more nonverbal side of things and stuff like that. So um, yeah, I think there's a lot of that happening on both sides of the thing. And the what makes me sad, I'll be honest, it's like one of those things. Am I still getting bullshit? Hold on. Oh no, they're deleted.
You cut out.
Oh,
Cut out
I'm there. I
though.
think I'm here. Am I here now? Shit. Sorry. Am I here?
Yeah, you're here, but I
Fuck.
mean, you cut out for a few seconds
I
every
don't.
now
I
and
don't.
then.
That's the thing. When somebody tells me I cut out, I don't know if I cut out in the stream or if I cut out just to you. You know?
I think it might be just to the server actually. I think in the stream it's still coming. It probably still comes
I don't
through
fucking know. I don't know.
because
Am I?
it never cuts off on the stream as far as I know,
That's
but it does cut off on
that's
the server.
weird. It might just be. Maybe I have too much shit running. Hold on. Let me see.
It might be that, or it might also be that your voice recognition thing is not recognizing that you're talking. You're talking.
Maybe. I don't know. But in any case, what did I say last? I don't know what I
on
said.
YouTube.
I don't know what's happening.
You were just saying that there was a lot of overlap there.
Oh yeah, all that shit.
A lot of each happening on each side. Yeah.
So yeah, but it's all
I
interesting.
do agree with you. Yeah.
Oh okay. Well,
It's fun on YouTube.
oh okay.
Yeah.
Can you give examples? Plutoid asks, can you give examples of concrete versus abstract thinking? Yeah. I mean, the easiest thing would be like the difference between, say, let me think of. Okay. Oh, here we go. We'll do trains, right? Okay, so it's the difference between knowing and focusing entirely on, say, the engine and how it functions and what makes it most efficient, and every example of various engines and how, like, and even like, I guess like the physics that may be involved in the whatever type of energy and requirements are need to be made for that big hunk of metal to travel over whatever rails it's on and everything else, and all the details about train engine specifics or trains themselves and builds and models and things of that nature. That would be like very concretized information and data, right, about trains, right? And then on the other side of the whole deal would be kind of more abstract thought would be, what are trains, right? Why do people travel? What are trains? Why trains specifically? What do trains symbolically represent? What are they connected to? What is travel connected to? How do we connect that to, like, I don't know, maybe mythological, philosophical ideas about travel and what it means to adventure and what it means to go from place to another and what that means to the human and like all this shit, right? And then like trains, that would be like you start getting really abstract at that point, right? Like you start wondering about what place trains have in like the like existential aspect of the human experience and shit like that. Like we get really this is like very hyper sort of exaggerated example, but that would be like a very abstract version of an interest in trains, I guess. And then kind of in the middle between all that would be what I guess is equidistant, which is, oh, what sort of people ride trains? Why do people think trains are cool? Why do what is it that people do when they like? Why are they traveling? Where are they going? What are they going to? Why travel by train? What makes it more enjoyable or luxurious or aesthetically pleasing about the train ride itself in regards to like the people who are on the train, talking on the train, the food that's on the train, the places those people are going. Like it just becomes a lot more kind of middle of the ground, more socially, interpersonally focused about the use of the train itself. Like, what is the use of the train? And the use case for people, humans involved in train riding and train conducting would probably be kind of more middle of the road. All right, so I hope that helps. I don't know if that helped, but I hope it does.
I think you got it pretty good on the train subject anyway, but I mean,
I don't
the
know.
subject can be any subject, obviously.
Yeah, obviously any subject. I'm just trying to think of I just popped trains. I don't know why, but trains just popped in my head. God damn it! I hate when this happens. Like, have you ever had a situation where like at some point you probably leaned up against a counter or
I hate
something?
trains.
You hate trains. Well, that's great. You leaned up against a counter or something, didn't pay attention, and then it might have had like a sauce or food or something, and then like later, you feel like some crunchy patch on the back of your shirt, and you're like, "Fuck! What the fuck is this?" Like spaghetti sauce or some shit that I leaned
I
on.
mean, I'm sure that I've had that happen to me
I don't
before. Yeah,
like that. That's so annoying. Anyway,
that is a very concrete situation. That is not an
that is.
abstract.
Oh no, that's not at all. It's just I started picking. I started picking at my shirt right now. No, but honestly, like if I wanted to go into the weeds with it, I would just start thinking about like you know, um, like why I lost track of the fact that I ever got anything on me. Why wasn't I more interested in that I leaned up against something wet, and how come I didn't notice? And
Right.
why is that
Yeah.
more? Like I just like you
I
can
think in terms
go
of some
bananas.
examples, I think we could help him out just in terms of everyday stuff, just anything you're looking at around your house. If you're looking at the walls, you're looking at your TV, but not the screen, not the images in the screen, and just your table that you're sitting at, your chair, all that stuff's concrete thinking. But then if you turn around, you start thinking about religion, philosophy, you start thinking
Why do
about
we watch TV at
astrology.
all? What is TV?
So TV would be
Why
kind of an
why is
abstraction in a
TV
way.
more popular than reading? What are the differences? What about the
Oh,
human
there's so
condition does it
much, man,
tell
so
us?
much.
What about the human condition does it
Yeah.
tell us that there is a preference in our modern age that things that are viewed upon a television than things that are written
Yeah.
by word? Why is there a less use of individual imagination and a praise and upholding of other people's individual imaginations, creating a product, that is then easily digestible, like blah 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 blah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I don't know, whatever. Um, But anyway, thanks for talking there for a bit there, Grant. I want to see if anybody else got some stuff. SK27, what's up?
Hello.
Welcome, man. What's up? What did you want to talk about?
Well, nothing exactly. Came to chill.
Came to chill. Okay, you're on a live stream, right?
Yeah.
Came to chill on a live stream.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Okay, but okay.
Yes.
Do you have anything to think?
Hell yeah.
Do you have anything to express or discuss pertaining to the subject matter at hand, or anything else? I don't give a shit what's on your mind. Just you showed up next, so go ahead and drop whatever's on your mind if you'd like to talk about it. Because
Well,
I can give two
the
shits, to be honest.
the masking part is kind of interesting because isn't it kind of avoidant feature that you have the mask and in order to be high functioning
Uh,
schizoid.
I wouldn't call it an avoidant feature, only because there might be masking occurring with people that are considered to be avoidant. But I'm more interested in why the masking is occurring, not that it's happening. You get me? So if somebody's masking, the real question is why. not that they're doing it. In order to define the feature, at least in my dumb armchair opinion. So if somebody is masking because they're afraid of rejection, they're afraid of judgment, they're afraid of being not being accepted by the crowd that they're in, that would be probably closer to an avoidant trait, in my opinion. But if that same person masking or a different person masking is doing it because they want to be left alone, they don't want to be tied up or misunderstood or misattributed in some way that causes them problems that they don't want to deal with and they don't connect to and they don't relate to, and that'll just eat into their kind of solo time. That'll eat into their ability to just kind of remain in a more tranquil or peaceful state as much as possible. Or also it'll remind them of their like negative feelings of alienation because other people don't understand them, and they don't understand them, and they sorry, they don't understand them, and those people don't understand them in return. Fuck, I'm tired. Anyway, whatever. Point is, that would be closer to a schizoid reason, in my opinion, to why they're masking. So I would say those are kind of fundamentally different reasons for masking, even if the behavior is similar, which is pretending you're someone you're not, or putting up a false persona in order to adapt or navigate your environment for whatever reason, and being somewhat conscious of it as well. Sometimes it's not always super conscious until much later in life when you kind of realize, oh shit, I'm faking all this. I'm not really invested in any of these kind of relationships I'm like trying to navigate. Does that help? SK27?
Yeah, it was kinda odd feeling when I just discovered that I was masking sometime when I was like 13 or 14,
Yeah,
and that turned my world like upside down. And
yeah,
I was thinking a lot like this isn't normal, and I thought to my whole life that it's just normal to do that activity.
yeah. No, meanwhile, like, most neurotypical peeps are out there just kind of doing it intuitively, right? Even when they mask, they're masking because they know that there's certain types of emotional or social rewards they're going to get by behaving in a specific way. And so it's kind of intuitive and they kind of just adapt to it, but they're getting some kind of reward return from it. So it doesn't feel unnatural because it's kind of like flowing through the social context. In the case of the schizoid, when they mask, they're doing it to adapt and survive and just navigate it, but they're not really getting much in return other than hoping they get another moment where they're not feeling alienated and they're alone again in their own thoughts. That's not much of a reward, to be honest. That's more of a moment of respite. It doesn't quite add up in the same way, at least in my belief. But yeah, thanks for the question. Thanks for the what that
Thank you.
was. Appreciate it, SK27. All right, next we have Boyang. I saw Boyang jumped on. What's up, Boyang?
Hello. Shit. I wanted to say something, but I forgot what it was.
It's okay. I don't
Oh
care.
wait. No, yeah. I got it. My train of thought just came back from the Immaterium.
Haha, trains. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh yeah. Speaking of trains, yeah, it was
trains.
related
Speaking
to
of
that.
trains, there you
No,
go.
no, it was related actually to the topic discussed before trains. So
What's up?
we're talking about how SPD basically has this overlap with a bunch of other disorders, and I was thinking, what if, because of the way SPD is framed, especially in the DSM-5, where there's just this general asocial demeanor, that it could perhaps just incorporate people who develop this kind of a way to relate to other people, but they might have developed this kind of a way to relate to other people because of very different reasons. Like some of them might come from a schizotypal place of origin, some might be autistic, some might be avoidant, and their schizoid adaptation is all they share in common, and in any other respect, they might be very different people.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I think I catch the drift here. Real quick though, if any of my admins or sorry, my moderators, like there's some bullshit in chat again. If you can take care of that, if you can't, then whatever. Stupid bots, man. They're just always posting porn on my channel. It's fucking annoying. I hate it. Like this is the last demographic that wants to click on all your shitty adult dating porn bullshit. Anyway, mommy milkers. Anthony, thanks for that. Hey, you know what? I'll say it. I'll be the first to say it. I'm not gonna shit on an appreciation and cultured respect for mommy milkers. Okay, I'm not one that. I respect the milkers. In any case, so what I'm kind of hearing from you is that you're saying that the one of the things that could be shared in common between, say, various forms of neurodivergence is that kind of adaptive masking and isolation feeling or alienation that comes with it. Is that kind of what you're saying? Or am I
Not exactly.
misunderstanding? Yeah, yeah. Just kind of,
No, yeah. So
yeah. Explain it. Give me
yeah,
a more
what I
kind of
meant to
condensed
say,
version here.
yeah. So condensed version. So what I meant to say is that people from various neurodivergent strands might all, through some uh, mechanism or another, arrive to a schizoid position, but at their core they might be very different. So someone
Oh,
could be
okay, okay,
autistic,
okay.
but
I get what you're saying. Okay, so this is where it gets a little confusing. What's your name on here? Boyang. This is where it gets a little confusing, Boyang. In my opinion, is that when I say schizoid, right? I'm not really referring so much to just the behaviors that are described, say, in the DSM, right? When I hear schizoid, I'm referring to an individual that has very specific types of reasoning for why it is they become as isolated as they do, right? Or asocial, or whatever you want to call it. And somebody could be very much socially involved, but be masking the entire time and be internally asocial, right? But my point is when I say schizoid, I'm referring to an individual that presents what is listed, say, on the DSM-5. But I'm also referring to an individual that is also doing those behaviors for very kind of specific reasons, right? And and they're oftentimes trying to avoid or deal with specific types of differences that cause them to become very pessimistic, indifferent, resentful of the world around them. Okay. So if somebody is, say, autistic and they're displaying similar behaviors, say they're like a high functioning autistic guy, and they're displaying similar behaviors, if you were to ask them or ascertain in some way as to why they are doing those behaviors, the reasoning behind it are going to be entirely different than somebody that's on the schizo spectrum and doing it for their reasons, right? And I want to say for sure they're not lesser or better. I mean, whatever reason, they're just different reasons. And because of that, I think there should be. This is what confuses me, Boyang. This is what kind of like it annoys the shit out of me. Okay, here I'm going to say something. Are you ready for a hot take, Boyang? Since you brought it up, are you ready?
go on.
Hot take. Okay. Oh, this is the kind of stuff that frustrates me because it's just so simple to me, but it's just apparently really complicated to the world. Okay. You have, let's just say, all right, for the sake of argument, you have autistic people, neurotypical people, kind of middle of the road, average, mean sort of individuals, and then you have all the schizos over here. Let's just say it functions that way, right? whatever, doesn't matter. Even if you want to remove all that, let's just remove all that. Let's just go with what's conventionally better understood. Autistic people, okay? So the way you would approach, tell me, boy, do you think the way you would approach psychology, the human mind, trauma, adaptations, defenses, whatever the fuck you want to call them, depending on your school of thought on the matter, do you think the way you would approach those for people that are autistic would be fundamentally different than the way you would approach them for people that are not autistic? That's the question.
Could you repeat that? Because I didn't quite.
No. Okay, I'll repeat it. Okay, let's just say. Here, I'll give you a more like kind of definitive example. Say there was a child, right, that went through a lot of physical abuse, right? Physical abuse like beatings and things of that nature, and neglect. Okay. Now, if that child is autistic, right, or that child is not autistic, say they're neurotypical, they don't have the tism, do you think there should be categorically a fundamentally different approach as to how you handle the research, study, and understanding of the types of defenses and adaptations that those individuals develop because of said trauma, because of this cognitive difference? Should there be a different approach and a different sort of categorization there?
That's a pretty hard question to answer because some of their different traits in terms of how their brains function might lead to different coping mechanisms as well.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And some will be shared. Like, I can't really tell you like the extent of it, whether it's 50-50 or whatever.
Okay, so that's something.
Yeah.
Okay, obviously, I'm not asking you to give me a definitive answer, but that's definitely something that should be looked into, right?
Sure.
That's definitely something that should be contextually integrated into the approach of how you practice therapy on those individuals. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's kind of my point. Is that since the reasons are different and the motivations are different, and if there's differences in the form of cognition, the manner in which said trauma, neglect, PTSD, or whatever else is being interpreted is going to be very different. And the types of defenses and coping and the reasons for those defenses and coping are going to be very different. And so they cannot be approached as the same thing. And that's why I think that you can't just say someone that displays a specific set of behaviors, like the ones listed on the DSM-5 pertaining to the schizoid, should be what defines a person being called schizoid or whatever. I think there should be a different term for an autistic person that develops these behaviors to this degree. There should be there should be a different term.
Exactly my point. That was exactly my point. Like, if there are multiple types of adaptations which all fit the criteria of schizoid, then they should either be divided into subgroups or just divided into different categories altogether. Because someone who's schizoid, say because they have like a great imagination and ability to abstract, is qualitatively different from someone who exhibits schizoid behaviors because they just got really. They feel numb to socialization because of whatever traumagenic stuff they have in their head.
It could be a combination of both, but
yeah.
But there definitely has to be a something like, okay, let's look at it real quick here. What are we looking at here? Well, let me look at something on YouTube real quick. I'm just gonna look at the DSM real quick. And then just just very quickly kind of look at the rundown here. Okay, so simple, right? Neither desires nor enjoys close relationships. Holy shit. How many reasons could there be for that, right?
Yeah,
Chooses
exactly.
solitary activities. None or little interest in having sexual experiences. Takes pleasure in few activities. I mean, like even that one, none or little interest in having sexual experiences. I think that would definitely, as far as that category, it would like some people that are victims of certain types of crime would probably be one of those people, right? That aren't necessarily autistic or schizo, that would be not interested for very specific trauma based reasons. Takes pleasure in few activities. What are the activities, right? How are they defining what activities are? And what is pleasure? It's just so fucking frustrating. Lacks close friends or confidants. What is your definition of friend? How is that constructed internally?
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, they even have like specific criteria, like a number of friends. Like, come on, like that's something so impossible.
It's absurd. Appears indifferent to praise or criticism. Of what? Of what? That this is why this shit drives me nuts, right? And this is why there's so many problems with it. Because it is okay. Let's have fun with this. Just that one specifically. That's fun. Appears indifferent to praise or criticism. What do you mean by praise or criticism? Right? What are you praising and criticizing? If you tell me, I think your hair is ugly, I don't care. Right? I like my hair this way because it's comfortable, because it covers my neck and it's warm and I'm comfortable. And for some reason, to me, aesthetically, long hair is just sadder and I'm sad. And so it's comfortable and cozy. Whatever. Okay. That's why I wouldn't care if somebody says my long hair is ugly. But if they were to say, your approach to said subject that you value is lacking and pathetic, I would that would kind of like bring things to my attention a little bit, and I would be like, oh, that's not good. I don't like that. I don't like that it's lacking, and there must be some reason you're considering it pathetic. I would like to hear what those reasons are. And if they, convey reasons that I find legitimate, or I go, oh shit, that would have an impact on me. Yes, that might make me want to change my behavior. That might make me, and even before that, it might make me a little sad because I'd be like, oh, I was failing in some capacity that I didn't know immediately. And though I'm glad I can change that now, I unfortunately now have to look back at previous decisions or behaviors and go, those were unfortunate. And that makes me sad. Okay? So
Right.
it's very fucking different. Right? And that's the problem. What do you mean by praise or criticism? Shows emotional coldness, detachment, or flattened affectivity. To what? To what? Right? If I show emotional coldness to my neighbor that had his someone die in their family, and I wasn't that close to that neighbor to begin with, and I just go in my head, I might think, oh, that's unfortunate. I hope they'll be okay. I don't think personally that death is the end, so I'm hoping they will somehow come into contact with that individual in some later time. If that's not what happens, well, luckily they won't know because we'll all drift into oblivion anyway. So hopefully, like, that is how that goes or whatever in my head, and I would go, that sucks, and then I move on. I wouldn't be like, I need to go hold them and hug them or do any of that, because I personally would not be the right person to be doing that. Right? Somebody else. If anything, I would be thinking, I hope somebody else that does effectively empathize for them shows up and helps them. Like that's what I would think in my head, because that would be good for them. Okay. Now, if say somebody was, I'm trying to think of a situation. Say somebody, my neighbor here, same neighbor, okay, same neighbor, different or whatever. My neighbor, he's being arrested for having opinions or thoughts that the authoritarian government that I inhabit, uh, is going after them for a type of thought or experience that I consider to be valuable or of importance, and they're being beaten half to death, or they're being dragged away to God knows where because they expressed those opinions that I believe to be of value, or something like that. Like, I'm just giving you a random example. I don't know. There could be a bunch of different stuff. That would make me feel effectively, personally empathetic toward them. Or I would just be like, I wouldn't be cold about it, at least. Even if it's just cognitive, I would be like, that's wrong. That's fucked. I don't like that. That makes me upset that happened. Does that make sense? So, I wouldn't be emotionally detached from that. Right? I might be emotionally detached from that specific individual to some degree, but through the concept itself that I live in a world in which this occurs, right?
Makes sense.
I would be upset about that. I wouldn't be emotionally disconnected or apathetic about that. I would be like, that sucks, man. That shit makes my day worse just to hear. Like, I don't like that. That makes me anxious. That makes me frustrated. Right? And want to know what's funny is that even if it was like, say, the neighbor who's just, I don't know. Let's just say, let's go back to the death in the family, right? Let's just say the neighbor had a death in the family that was especially someone younger, like say it was like a sister or something. Yeah, I would be upset not at, oh, that specific person had someone die and they are sad. No, I would just be thinking about, like, why do people have to die in these kind of, like, what universal, what existential law about existence requires individuals to suffer the loss of an individual without knowing if there is an answer as to whether they will ever see them again in any capacity? Like, what kind of like cruel universe do we live in? And if in fact it was just, if in fact was created, why? And if it wasn't created and just an anomalous thing, just the very nihilistic idea of it all would be kind of troublesome in my mind, right? That would be my kind of why I'm sad about hearing that my neighbor's sister died.
Is Ecclesiastes a schizoid book?
I don't. I'm not going to get into that, general. So, does that make sense? Anybody listening, Boyang or otherwise?
Right. Yeah, and I wanted to say that the ICD does a somewhat better job at describing this disorder, because at the very least it hints towards a specific
Who does?
neurological type
Who
of
does?
person. Because I'm saying this because there is this specific symptom, namely that there is this strong tendency towards introspection and fantasy, and
No,
that
no. I'm
is
asking who does a better job.
the ICD.
Oh,
ICD-10.
ICD. Yeah, ICD-10 does definitely. In that
Yeah,
regard, yeah, they do a better job in that sense. Yeah.
because that symptom specifically is a hint towards a schizotypal type of person, or schizospectrum type of person, because that's very characteristic of that.
Well,
That
that's
kind
why
of
I
person.
like the meme one so much. Was it Aktosh? The one they use the Blade Runner meme with. Hold on.
Not sure what you're on about.
Hold on. They always use. Hold on. Oh, this meme. What is it? Yeah, the 21st century schizoid man. K screaming. Hold on. Click on it. It's the clinical features of schizoid personality disorder. The oh my god, I'm so tired. It's it's Akatosh, right? Is that how it's pronounced? Am I saying it wrong? Okay, hold on. That's what happens when I'm tired and I've had a few beers. It's even on the goddamn wiki. Am I saying it wrong? Can someone help me? I'm tired. It's not Gun Trip. Here it is. Okay. Actars. Sorry, Actars. Actars. Tired Actars. Actars. Actars profile is like one of my favorite. It's not perfect, but man, it's fucking rad. Actars profile. Do you know about that one?
It is Schizoid Wiki.
Here, I'll just fucking show it. 1 second. It's just easier. Let's see here. There it is. This is my favorite. Have you seen that one? Boyang?
Wait, what are we talking about?
Oh, I put it on the stream. I don't know if you can see it. Hold on, you're not watching the stream,
No,
huh?
I'm on Discord.
Oh yeah. Duh. Okay, hold on. Let me give you the link so
No,
you can check it out.
I'm on Discord on my phone.
Yeah. I get you. All right, let me put it in the. I'm gonna put it in the annex VC. Okay.
Yeah.
Check it out. This is the one I'm talking about. This one's become kind of a meme amongst schizoids.
Oh, yeah. I saw this. Yeah.
Yeah. This is Akhtar's profile. I feel like this shit gets.
It showed the same image on your last stream.
Yeah, I feel like this shit gets it down a lot better than many others. If you want to check.
What the fuck? This is literally me.
What happened?
This is literally me. What the fuck?
No, that's what's funny about it. No, that's what's funny about it. Akhtar's profile is so good. It's so good. It's so good. Like it hits the schizoid points pretty fucking hard, pretty well.
Yeah, he was probably writing about himself, to be honest.
That's my guess. A lot of the people that have written good shit regarding schizoids are probably schizoids. So
there's no fucking way they can understand our mind otherwise.
Yeah, well, I mean, read through it, man, and tell me it's not somewhat accurate, give or take, in many regards.
I've read this ages ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal to read.
Especially with the moral unevenness stuff. Like,
oh, I love it. I love it, man. I've had entire conversations on that one. The occasionally strikingly immoral and vulnerable to odd crimes, and at other times altruistically self-sacrificing. Mother of God, that's so many schizoids. Like I have talked to so many schizoids that are like, I don't know why I took my time to help this or that person or this thing to my own detriment. I just felt compelled because I believe this conceptually or something. And no one around me as I did it even understood the reason why I did it. Right? Like that's one of the shittiest parts. Like imagine this, boy, and I don't know if you've experienced this, but I sure should have. Imagine you do something that you feel is right in your own kind of way, and then everyone, when you do it, because it's considered to be a positive or asocial, not asocial, sorry, pro-social action. A lot of the people tell you, "Oh, you're great for doing this," or "Good job doing this thing or that thing," right? And then the reasoning they give you for why it's good is nothing like why you did it. And then it just makes you feel worse, not better. That's kind of the compliments you don't want to hear.
To be honest, after I've reached a certain point in my life and I decided that morals are all subjective, I've never really given much thought to why I'm making moral decisions other than, I just feel like it. Like there's nothing deeper beyond that.
Oh, you're just going through the motions?
To me at least. Yeah, because I'm essentially a moral nihilist, so I just do what I feel like doing, and sometimes it happens to be a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. I don't really give it much thought anymore. I gave it thought when it was still something that was, I don't know, mysterious. But after I kind of got to the bottom of it, I just
you got it all figured out. You got it all figured out, boy. Yeah, you got it. You're the big brain motherfucker that got it all figured out. I'm glad, man. It only took you so many years to understand the entire human condition and the manner in which morality functions and ethics. Good job, bro. You must be so smart. I'm fucking with you, man. I'm fucking with you. I get what you're saying. I'm as I've mentioned before, I'm an optimistic nihilist. So,
yeah,
that's
to
me.
have divine intellect like Barry Davis.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying when it comes to that. I just I still like certain things and I still respect certain things. Morally.
So do I. It's just
it's all
just
silly, absurd
gut,
nonsense. Yeah, I know. Who cares? It makes it
It's
awesome.
just all based on my gut feeling, not really
Your moral intuitions.
Yeah.
A la Jonathan Haidt.
I guess. I'm not very familiar with.
Fuck, man. Everyone needs to read that motherfucking book. No one reads that goddamn book. That is one of the best fucking books I've ever read. And no one reads that fucking shit.
The guy himself is kind of corny, so I just never really.
Wait. What was corny?
Consideration. Jonathan.
Oh, yeah, no, he's corny. No, but the book's fucking great, man. The Righteous Mind. The Righteous Mind. I don't even care if, like, you read it and you go, I don't agree with everything in here. Whatever, fuck it. Or I don't think their approach to this or that was good. Like, I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. You can have all that. I have my own issues. The basic idea that's being promoted in that book is solid by my standards. The Righteous Mind, Jonathan Haidt.
All right, I'll watch a 5-minute video on it.
No. Don't watch it. Watch an hour video, please. Don't. You don't have to read it, but watch a longer video on it, please. More than fucking 5 minutes. The basic idea is just humans have moral intuitions that arguably come from things of a genetic predisposition nature, like psychological. What is this? Evolutionary psychology reasons for why a lot of these intuitions developed, such as like a basic example is the commonality between most human beings to have a disgust mechanism in association with things like incest of a specific nature, or say murder, right? Murder. I'm not talking about killing. I'm talking about in-group unacceptable forms of killing. All right. Why there's a kind of disgust mechanism or discomfort mechanism associated with it and shit like that, and how a lot of these things are what develop much of what is considered to be moral, amoral, ethical, and unethical within human civilization. right? And how a lot of that decision making that we do, even if we consider it to be highly rational or very logical or intellectualize it in whatever manner that you will, is oftentimes being navigated or influenced in a very direct way by the manner in which you make those decisions, right? Those subjective decisions. So, it was kind of it's an interesting book because even the intention of the author, Jonathan Haidt, was his actual intention for writing the book was subverted by the research they did. That's what makes it interesting too. They had like a bias for why they went into it that they didn't realize. And as they did research into the matter, they discovered their own biases and reasoning and their own flaws and difficulties in the manner in which they were approaching the subject at all. So it's fucking great book. And I think it's one of those books that could definitely help out a lot of motherfucking human beings on Earth, institutionally or otherwise. So it's just fucking hilarious. The whole situation is hilarious. So anyway, okay, I'm gonna move on to hold on. Let's see who's on here. I have a different person on here. So thank you, Boyang, for joining me, and thank you for whatever you brought up. All right.
Yeah, no worries. Also, I should probably go to sleep because it's okay.
All right, man. Just do
What's the
whatever you
time
gotta
again?
do. Just pop in your favorite.
Okay, yeah,
Just
no,
pop
okay.
in. Just pop in your favorite femboy porn and fap until you go to sleep. All right. Whatever you gotta
I'll
do.
just I'll do the audiobook version of whatever that is.
Okay, so go ahead and do some good audio ASMR fapping. Get some rest. All right. All right.
Yeah, good night.
Good night. In any case, I have someone under the name Tack. Period. Tack. Period. What's up?
Can I curse?
Fuck. Nah, man, you can't curse on this stream. Fuck. You can't curse on this stream,
I
bro.
have a question about
Yeah.
what anhedonia feels like.
Feels like I'm cooning, bro.
Because I don't know.
What do you
I'm
mean?
currently in the diagnostic process right now.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, I really don't feel good about much.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I just kind of it feels like I like to entertain myself, but I don't really feel pleasure from a lot of things.
Okay.
I'm just curious if you had any experience
Well, yeah,
if you could describe it.
anhedonia is a blast. Okay, so this is the manner in which I would describe it. Things that normally make you feel okay or good. Good's a strong word, but okay. About at least that present immediate experience life wise, then feels like nothing. It feels like zilch. Like you might as well be sitting there scratching your balls, or doing nothing, right? And even things that are annoying stop being annoying. They just become flat and just pointless. And everything feels that way. And so sometimes there's a kind of a certain level of existential fear that comes with it because you're just like, oh no, I can't feel anything, or I can't enjoy anything, or I can't feel my feelings, whatever. It just kind of depends on the individual.
So it feels like nothing stimulating.
Nothing stimulating in either positive or negative directions, usually. Right. In some cases, it'll be all negative. In which case, I don't know if I would define it as anhedonia, and it'd be more like just depression, like severe depression. But when it feels like everything is nothing, and you're just like floating, and you're kind of disassociated sometimes, yeah, I would describe that more of an anhedonia. Like, it doesn't mean you always feel like that 24/7, but you hit that sweet spot, if you, for lack of a better term, for some period of time, usually. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think you described it pretty well.
Yeah, man, I'm trying here, right? I'm not anhedonic at the moment. Right now, I care about some things and don't care about others, and get angry about certain things, and kind of somewhat cozy about others. So I'm not currently in an anhedonic state. But when I am, and I've done streams when I am, I'm just kind of indifferent. Like, I would say it's like, well, I could live or die, give or take. It's all the same. Yeah, whatever. It's all
Okay.
pointless. It's all nonsense.
That
Everything I'm
is true.
saying, everything I'm doing, my very thoughts are all just irrelevant, just fluff, or just algae in
You're
an
making some
ocean of
very good points right
nonsense.
now.
Yeah, yeah, but you know what I'm saying. That's what anhedonia kind of. You just like feel like your entire existence is just algae or flotsam in an ocean of already total nothingness. So, um, that's how kind of anhedonia I would describe more or less as feeling like when. But oftentimes, honestly, this is how I like to consider a lot of anhedonia episodes for me. Um, I can't speak to everyone, but it feels like my brain is going, "Oh shit, something just happened that is emotionally dysregulating you," right? And instead of getting all emotionally dysregulated in one direction or another, because it can happen, we're just gonna go ahead and put you into this neutral position in which you can't feel shit. And so now that you can't feel shit, it's not good or bad. It's just all shit. Doesn't matter. And so I like silver lining. This is all I gotta say. Talk, right?
Yeah,
Um,
that's fine.
is that a Stephen King reference?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Um, is that maybe it's just my brain's attempt at saving me from doing a backflip.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, my brain's like, oh shit, this motherfucker's gonna do a backflip if it goes in this way. Let's just shut down the fucking factory. And so then the factory shuts down, and then you're just like, and I guess, I mean, that's arguable whether that's better or not, but whatever. So that's my kind of thought on that particular matter. Anhedonia, kind of like,
I'm also curious. What does a schizoid get out of being like in a relationship?
well, okay, man, this is dicey. Okay, so, God, there's so many layers to this. God damn it, talk. By the way, the reason I said it's a Stephen King reference is because I think of the novel Desperation or The Regulators, but Desperation specifically has a kind of possessed psycho cop, traffic cop, sheriff guy.
Okay.
And he talks to like coyotes or some wolves or some shit, and he says, "Talk." Do you know what I'm talking about?
I have no idea what that
Yeah,
is.
yeah. It's a book called Desperation. Check it
Stephen
out.
King is such a soy boy.
Stephen King wrote under the pen name Richard Bachman. When he wrote under Richard Bachman, he wrote the books like Thinner and a few other really kind of sometimes lower brow or kind of distasteful pieces of horror literature. One of which was Desperation. It's I think it's an interesting book, but there's a sheriff and he yells "talk." It's in reference to the lore in the book, to like coyotes and shit. TAK specifically. So anyway, why I mentioned that, I don't know. I lost track of my
It's
original
to stall
thought.
the question.
No, it's not to stall the question because I don't remember what the question was. What was the question?
Okay. So, like, what does a schizoid get out of a
Oh, yeah,
relationship?
easy. Okay.
Specifically, like a
Okay,
romantic
so
one.
it comes down to what that. Okay, if we're talking about schizoids, the way I talk about it, which is an individual on this kind of schizo spectrum side of things, what they can get out of it is something that might not immediately be apparent to them if they're conditioned to believe that they have to only get rewards within a specific kind of set of modules, which are neurotypical. So there are certain rewards from a romantic relationship with an individual that might be beneficial to somebody that's on that side of the spectrum. So some of that stuff might be some of the conceptual ideas about love, connection, human interaction in the face of an indifferent cosmic universe. Having someone to lynch onto or tie down, like anchor onto, and they anchor onto you in the hurricane that is existential dread. Like, there's a lot of fucking things that could be very romantic, poetic, and beautiful, and awe-inspiring about the idea of having mutual linchpins, or essentially like a stud, stabbed against the mountain that is the one that Sisyphus climbs. Right? It in that nature, in that way, I believe that many times the schizoid can find a certain beauty in finding a statistically unlikely individual that they can connect to against such an existential crisis that can make them feel at least a little warm and fuzzy as that very meteor obliterates them all.
Well, yeah, I think you did a pretty good job at describing it, I guess, because you aroused some kind of intrigue where there was none within me before, so.
Yeah, not surprised. Only because I'm not surprised, not in a smug way. It's just it's so obvious to me, and it sucks because I don't want people to feel like that.
It's the most schizoid major.
Shut up, Gentlol. The most schizoid major is what would be the most schizoid major? Like in school? Like, or are we talking military? The most schizoid major in school would probably be just either philosophy or theology or some shit like that. Philosophy. I'll go with philosophy. If your major is philosophy, that's problem. That's history's up there. That's the one I did. Right. You're trying to find some kind of fucking cosmological, metaphysical, unifying theory of some kind or another in your immature nature, especially earlier on in life. God damn it. Tack. Why'd you do this?
Why'd I do what?
You hit my feels, my friend. Piece of shit.
You're welcome. You said you're tired, right?
I'm always tired, man.
Oh, okay.
But what do you
I was
mean?
gonna ask, like, how long you were awake.
Oh, I don't do the whole insomnia route anymore. I can't. But my sleep is pretty shit most of the time. And when I mean by tired, I mean like existentially. I don't really mean like physically. Physically, I'm tired. Yes, I'm pretty tired. But existentially, I am just exhausted. There are very few ways in which I can recuperate some of that energy. Yes.
Well, thank goodness I can drain it.
Good. I mean, like, for example, okay, let me give you guys a behind the scenes example of what I mean. So the reason I'm doing this Monday stream is because usually I do my streams on Tuesday, right? But there's stuff going on in my family and extended family type situation in which Tuesday tomorrow is not so viable, right? So I thought, oh, I had two choices. Which was I could say, sorry guys, no stream on Tuesday. Shit happens. Blah blah blah, and then I wouldn't have to stream till like next Thursday, right? Because I do Tuesdays, Thursdays, and usually Saturday or Sundays nights. But instead I thought, oh shit, no, I have to do my 3 days a week because reasons
You have to fulfill your debts.
or whatever. And so I'm like, I could do it today. But then I'm like, I had to like talk to the people involved and go, okay, I'm going to do it today because that way it's more convenient for you guys to do whatever it is you have to do tomorrow and I won't be a concern. And then it's like, okay, that functions. And so that's how I ended up doing today instead. 1 second, hold on.
And its consequences have been a disaster for the human race. They have great
Oh, I'm muted. Apparently I'm muted. So anyway, I'm good with talking about subjects of this kind right now. I just want to look at so here I have an interest. Oh, say the poll 63% said yes. Okay, cool. All right. And thanks to anybody that joined on. Thank you to Talk, Grant, the other guy, the monkey face one. Anybody else that jumped on? And Gentle, thank you for your occasional insertions of text to voice. I appreciate it. And for now, I'm going to play a few tracks and decent stream. Fucking Withers. Grant, what are you doing? Decent stream. I love the evaluation of me just jumping on a stream.
What's the schizoid take
that
on
I
the
wasn't.
Industrial Revolution? Was it a good or a bad thing for the schizoid movement?
Gentle. I love that Witherings give me an evaluation. Well, you're saving the content, I think. I'm saving content? I'm not doing anything. I'm just tired. This is not a conscious effort. This is me being tired. Like, what goes on my channel? I don't even know what you're saying, Grant. I'm entirely confused.
You're rolling in ad money. We all know it.
Oh, ad money. Yes, so much ad money. Dude, I don't get any ad money for my streams just because of the amount of profanity. Because I don't want to deal with it. So I entirely rely on other forms of income, such as PayPal, Patreon, Ko-Fi. Well, thank you for reminding me to tell people. Sign up to my Patreon, Ko-Fi. Send me PayPal money. Send me Ether. Send me Litecoin. Send me Cardano. Send me, and if you don't like any of that, join whatever groups and other types of things that I have going on. Send me whatever you're comfortable with. Just send me things. Send me things.
Monero wallet.
Monero. I don't have Monero. I have Cardano. Send me shit.
Send you anything?
Okay, not anything. I don't have a PO box yet for anything. I don't take Coon coins, but in any case, whatever will function as a monetary asset that will allow me to continue this forward and help pathetic motherfuckers like myself out there in the world.
Pathetic is very relative.
Well, I'm one of them, so I absolutely. Schizoid is not real. You're welcome. Okay, well, wonderful, Ricky. As long as you send me money, I don't care what you say about that shit. All right, time to play this shit out. So chill with me for the next couple of minutes if you would like to listen to some random ass tracks that I decide to play.
Can I say something before you leave?
Go ahead, Gentle. I'll say something before I leave. I'll wait. I'm waiting. Or I might be getting trolled. They're not going to say anything. I have a feeling that's what's happening.
The Industrial Revolution and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race.
damn
They have
it.
greatly increased the life expectancy of those of us who live in advanced countries, but they have destabilized society, have made life unfulfilling, have subjected human beings to indignities, have led to widespread
You son of a
psychological
bitch.
suffering, and have inflicted severe damage on the natural world.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go, Gentle. Thank you for that last bit of information you decided to discard upon us, like you would on a prostitute's butt crack. Okay. Music time.
Please remember that when you feel scared or frightened, never forget the times when you feel happy. When day is dark, always remember happy day.